Nothing is better than some fresh fall food, so we're making an apple and squash chutney. We have Chef John Slattery with chefjohnslattery.com here. We are making fall in a dish.
Yes, you know, such great bounty at this time of the year. Love to incorporate them. This dish is going to be so hearty that it could be eaten as a vegetarian meal, or you could add sausage to it, or serve it as a side with a larger function.
Now you mentioned when it comes to the squash, I think a lot of people think they have these giant squashes that they have to use the entire thing, but there's actually a lot of small squashes that you can get at the grocery store.
Yeah, if you go to the grocery store, there'll be mixed sizes. So pick a squash that's the size you need to feed your family, or pick a variety, because there's some nice ones. You know, you can get a small Hubbard, but as they're smaller, they're not as ripe, so you'll find less ripe fresh.
Oh.
But things like the small acorns and small butternuts that they have are ripe, as well as the turban squashes and buttercup squashes come nice and small.
Buttercup squashes.
Buttercup, one of my favorites. It has a slightly sweeter, almost more flavorful texture than most of the other squashes.
Oh, okay.
So this one here I've already pre-cooked. Small squashes like this you can just simply cut in half and remove the seeds, and in about 6 minutes in the microwave they'll be cooked all the way through, and then you can do other things with them. It's kind of a time saving. Otherwise, cut them in half, remove the seeds, oil them, bake them in the oven for 45 minutes or so.
So we're going to be using the actual squash as our bowl.
I'm going to use this to serve the chutney when we plate later.
I like that. All right, chutney, where do we begin?
So chutney is a sauté dish that includes vegetables and fruits and other ingredients. So we're going to start with, we've got a hot pan here.
Yep.
Probably too hot, so we're going to put the butter in and see what happens real quick. It's going to start smoking, so we're going to pull the butter out. It's TV. And then we're going to add our squash and our potatoes.
All right.
Now by doing this, our pan was too hot, but we didn't put the butter in to really burn, so these ingredients are cooling the pan.
Ah, I see.
So we start with those ones.
So that's a tip for everybody, because I can burn water. That's how I started. But honestly, having you and all the other great chefs on our show has taught me so much, and now I, can actually make food.
So now I'm going to add some salt and pepper.
Got to have the pink Himalayan sea salt.
Absolutely. And some sweet onion.
Now the butter was kind of just to give it that nice flavor.
The butter is going to saute it, but now because the pan was too hot, that's one of the secrets when you're heating a pan at your house. Don't heat it with the oil in it. Heat it with the oil out of it. So you can turn it down and let it cool down. Or in this case, we can put an ingredient in it that's cooler and cool the pan. And now I can add the butter. And we really didn't miss a step. The butter will melt and saute these ingredients together.
Oh, look at that. Who would have thought?
All right, so as those are cooking, and we're going to speed this up for TV time. I actually pre-cooked the potatoes and stuff. So we had sweet potatoes and white potatoes.
Okay.
We had Hubbard squash, which I diced up.
Yeah, that smells delicious.
We're getting those nice smells out of there.
Very fresh.
And to that, we're going to slice up an apple.
Ooh, that nice sweet.
Nice thin slices.
I know you're a professional, but that always makes me nervous. We never know when it can happen on live television. I almost cut my finger off in a segment before.
Oh, please don't do that.
That's why I leave it to you.
And we're going to add some sweetened cranberries.
Ooh, that nice, like you said, that bountiful flavor. What a profile.
And so as this is continuing to cook down, we're starting to get some color from the sauteing of the onions and the ingredients.
All right.
We're going to add about a half a cup of water, so they'll now start to steam those ingredients.
Oh. And how long do we let this cook for? Oh my gosh, this smells so good.
It's going to cook about 8 or 10 minutes, or until the potatoes and squashes are all tender.